Okay, welcome, welcome. So I see a few more people rolling into our time. As you get settled, find a comfortable space to be in. You may choose to find a notebook and a pen or a paper. Okay. Mhm. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mindful on Life, Reimagining a Well Mind, Body, and Spirit. It's the second session of our Woman Reimagined series presented by the Friends of Prevention Coalition in Richmond and Bare Soul Yoga. So this series was created really to introduce mindfulness techniques for self-care, for stress relief, for disease prevention, and overall wellness promotion. So welcome to the space tonight. If you're new to this space and you might have missed last week, we're going to do a short recap. But as we get started, I want to kind of just allow us to enter into this space with a bit of ease, even before getting into our program and our time together. I am sure that we are all moving and coming from different things. I'm sure we've had a full day, it being 6 o'clock. And so as we get settled, let's just begin to find a comfortable way to be in your body, noticing the physical space that you're in, whether you're at home or maybe you're outdoors. But begin to find a nice, comfortable seat. And we're just going to take a moment to take a breath and begin to allow our day to begin to settle so we can begin to arrive here. So when you're ready, you can either close your eyes or find something in the space that you're at to look at. And when you get ready, sit up nice and tall if that feels okay. And then take your hands right on top of your lap, letting yourself know that your physical body is beginning to be present in this space, even though we're virtually. And let's just take a deep breath as if you were taking a sigh. Take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. If that felt good for your body, take two more. Take a deep breath in. Allow the breath to be long. Allow the body to expand and then open your mouth and then empty it out. We'll do that one more time. Full breath in and empty it out. As you empty, let the shoulders fall and simply check in and notice how you feel right now. During this section, we'll begin to check in with our mind, our body, and our spirit. So let's first begin to check in with our physical body and ask, how does my physical body feel? How are your shoulders? How are your hands? How are your legs as you show up tonight? Knowing that you've moved through your day. And then if you need to make any shift, maybe moving the shoulders or finding a different seated position to get more comfortable, give yourself permission to make that shift based on how you feel. And then we're going to check in with our thoughts, our mind, body, and just notice what you're thinking about right now. Notice if there's many thoughts, or also notice if the mind is steady. And then as we come into this space of self-care, see if you can just begin to move your attention to you. Noticing that that's not selfish, it's simply a way to begin to focus in. And then now invite yourself to bring your awareness to your heart. You might even want to take one hand and place it right at the center of the heart and just ask that question, how am I? How am I at this moment? How did I feel during my day? And then knowing that all feelings and emotions are valid, and it's our practice just to understand that they're there. And then when you're ready, you can release your hand. Let's come back to our breath and take a deep breath in through the nose and allow the breath to be long and deep. And then keep the lips sealed if that feels okay, and then exhale through the nose. Do that a few more times. Deep breath in and slow breath out. Allowing the breath to begin to calm the mind, calm the body, and bring your awareness here. Let's take one more deep breath in and let it out. And so when you are ready, you can begin to bring your awareness and maybe your focus to the screen and to the sound of my voice. Finding gratitude that you took a moment just to check in with yourself. So I'll do another reintroduction. My name is Ashley Williams, and welcome to Mindful on Life, Reimagining Mind, Body, and Spirit. Like I said, this is the second session of 3 sessions that we are doing in July. And tonight's section, we are focusing on how to take care of ourselves in those 3 ways. So my name is Ashley Williams, and I'm the founder of Bare Soul Yoga. I'm a practicing yoga therapist. And what that means is I basically use mindful-based strategies like movement and breathing and taking moments during my day, maybe focusing on words or objects, to take better care of myself, and then to teach others how to use those practices to take care of themselves. I teach a lot of yoga and mindfulness classes, meaning that group classes, and now since we're in this virtual world, we teach a lot of virtual classes, all for the simple fact of doing similar what we just did as we entered into this session. It was really just to check in with these 5 spaces of our body. So not just our physical body, but how can we take care of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, and intellectually. And so what that means is how can we just take care of ourselves to have overall well-being. A little background about how I even got into this practice is in about 8 years ago, I really needed some, I was managing a lot of stress and anxiety from all the different roles that I was playing in life, from being a daughter, from being a student, from having a job. And so all of those different identities that I fell into, I wasn't really able to manage them for many different reasons, for reasons that I had responsibility over, but then also a lot of factors that my environment had. And so I needed something to really balance. And so I found my way into a mindfulness class. I found my way into a practice. And ever since then, it's been something that's allowed me to take better care of myself, allow me to find balance in life, regardless of what's going on around me. Every day is not perfect and things change. And so the practice is not to ignore the things that are difficult. The practice is really to just notice that when things are difficult and then learn how to take care of ourselves in those situations. So I welcome you here today. I'm really grateful to be in this space with you. A few like housekeeping things is that we're going to go through a guided practice later, and there's going to be some time for reflection. So if you have a moment, I'm going to encourage you to get a notebook and a pen, or you might choose to use your tablet or the notes section in your phone so you can have something readily accessible when you finish that meditation. Also, if you have any questions, if you are in our Zoom meeting, feel free just to pop them in the Q&A. And then I'll keep an eye out on that. And then also, if you are joining us via Facebook Live, feel free to place them in the chat. And if we have enough time, we'll be answering a lot of those questions. So as we get started, if you missed the first session, we really introduced the concept of mindfulness. And so like I said, in my personal experience, life is full of ebbs and flows. It's situations and experiences that happen that sometimes we just don't have control over. And then we all go through these periods of time. So understanding that new experiences are things that we all deal with, and some of them are pleasant and some of them can actually be unpleasant. And so during our first session, we introduced mindfulness. And so I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint just in case some of you all are visual learners, but also know that everything that is going to be on this PowerPoint, I will mention as well. So mindfulness is the practice of being in the present moment with a non-judgmental and compassionate attitude. What does that mean? It basically means that we live moment to moment in our experiences, and we don't take from the past situations, and we don't actually worry about the future situations. We allow ourselves to be right here, right now. So right here, right now, we're in this virtual space together, and we're allowing ourselves to be open and accepting of everything that's taking place. And so it means being kind and being curious. It means really giving ourselves this space of love and compassion to our thoughts, to our mind, to our emotions, and to what's taking place with us. And so it can be a practice where you sit down and you practice meditation, but our real goal is how can we be accepting of what's taking place in all moments in our lives instead of resisting it. And so we name that as a self-care practice. And so tonight is all about self-care, and I'm really excited to encourage and guide you all into what does your self-care look like right now for your mind, your body, and your spirit, and then what do you actually want it to look like? So we're going to really get down into that. And so what is self-care? It's a routine and a daily journey of intentional living and being mindful about our physical, mental, and emotional well-being, meaning that we are really just trying to take care of ourselves in every way, shape, or form that we can, taking care of our mind, taking care of our body, and taking care of our spirit. And then today, what we are going to do is we're really going to go and introduce the visualization meditation as a mindfulness tool. So we talked about breathing the last time, and so we'll introduce some more breathing practices as we get together and we move, but let's check in. So I am going to encourage you all to ask yourself these questions. And you may choose to write yes or no down on a sheet of paper, or you may choose just to allow yourself to note them in your mind. But when we talk about our self-care right now, the first question is, have you stretched or moved your body in the past 24 hours? Have you stretched or moved your body in the past 24 hours? And then the second question is, have you paused for a moment and taken 5 deep breaths? Oops. So just notice as you reflect in the past 24 hours. The next one, did you feel alert and rested upon waking up? Or have you spent time in nature or outside of your house in the last 3 days? So as you answer those questions, I invite you to notice those questions and notice your responses without any judgment, but know that when you move your body, you allow yourself to find energy. You begin to release tension or stresses from your physical body. And then you also activate your breath and ask yourself, have you activated your breath in the past 24 hours? Like, we breathe daily, we breathe constantly, it happens automatically. But did you intentionally take 5 deep breaths or more than 5 deep breaths. If you were here last week, we mentioned that when you breathe, you begin to regulate your parasympathetic nervous system. You get to regulate your rest response or your relaxation response. And then the beautiful thing about the breath is that you always have it with you. It's not something that you have to go to. It's that you can actively manage and control your breath to help your body respond to something in a way that's more healing, with the opposite being more stressful. So then the next question is, did you feel rested and alert when you woke up? And so many times we say that you should get 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 hours per sleep, but sometimes we get that and we wake up and we still feel a bit tired. So the question is, do you feel rested and alert when you wake up? Knowing that our sleep, and during those moments of sleep, that's when our body tends to restore. But there are so many things that can get in the way of sleep. From our communication with technology, from our work schedule, from our roles as mothers or daughters or sisters, from just time in general, illness. So just notice how your sleep is, and then see if that's the space where you can take care of yourself even more. And the last one, have you spent time outdoors or in nature in the past 24 hours? So taking a walk outside, allowing yourself to receive vitamin D, allowing yourself to be present, allowing yourself to be in the neighborhoods that you live. Noticing that all of those outdoor factors and those spaces benefit our well-being. And so as you look at that, I'm encouraging you all to take the next few moments to begin to visualize what a well self looks like. So our time together tonight is really going to begin to ask, what's gotten in my way of feeling my optimal self, of feeling like my best self? Or asking that question, how do I even visualize my future self? You might even ask, what is the midpoint between what's happening now and then what goals or intentions do I need to put in place to then actually get to the person that I actually imagine myself to be physically, mentally, and emotionally. Oh, I'm frozen. Let's see.
You were frozen, but you're back now.
Oh, okay. All right, guys, thanks. So as we do that, we're all a work in progress, right? But we don't want this to be work. We want to put some things in place that allow us just to naturally move into our optimal selves. Because at the end of the day, no matter where we are, we can be our optimal selves. So we're going to move into what we call visualization meditation. If you've never meditated before, that's totally okay. Meditation simply is an opportunity to sit with ourselves. We are technically our greatest teachers. We can have people and support that can tell us and give us suggestions of what works for us and what we can do to take care of ourselves. But ideally, we are our own greatest teachers. And so meditation is that time where we just sit and ask ourselves, what's working for us and what is not working for us? And visualization is our time where we actually begin to bring in what we actually want to see. And when we visualize, we give ourselves and our body and our brain an opportunity to actually see, but also feel in our bodies what we're seeing. So think about writing down goals. If you wrote down the goal that I want to reduce my blood pressure, right? That's your goal. And then can you see what yourself would look like if you reduced your blood pressure? What parts of your life would be different? And then you also have steps. So there's things that you might need to do to go from now to then. So visualization is actually creating an image and a picture in your mind. So then your body begins to actually feel it during this time of sitting with yourselves. So tonight, we're actually going to do a meditation of us in this current moment. And then we're going to bring in images of what we actually are interested in looking like and feeling like and being like from a wellness and a health standpoint. So as you get started, I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable seated position. So get comfortable in your body. We're going to be here for about 8 to 10 minutes. And so I just want to encourage you to know that that's the time. I'm going to keep the time, so please feel free to let go of any worry. And then you can choose to either close your eyes or once again find a focal point. Doing what's going to feel most comfortable and what's going to allow your mind and your body to be more centered and feeling more balanced and relaxed. So let's start with that deep breath. Take a deep breath in and then sigh it out. And so this next time that you take a deep breath, we have a really amazing question. It says, can I learn nicely to ignore people? So think about those sighs that people bring in. You know, those sighs where people are like, so that sigh, begin to bring that in. Take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. And as you begin to settle in, I'm going to invite you to once again check in with how you feel right now. Begin to ask, how do I feel in this moment? Begin to allow yourself to ask, what does my current day feel and look like? What does my current day feel and look like? Begin to visualize that. And as you begin to bring these thoughts into your mind, let your body settle. Let your hands find stillness. Let the soles of the feet find stillness. Some of our days are really busy and full. And so when we begin to think about that, sometimes we might begin to move our bodies or get tense. So calm the hands, plant the feet, relax the muscles in the face, and visualize what your current day feels like and looks like. And then ask yourself to notice, if I were to rank the alignment of my life from 1 to 5 for optimal wellness for my best self, if I were to give myself a score between 1 to 5, 1 being not my best self, and then maybe 5 being your optimal self, where would you place yourself on that 1 to 5 scale? And now begin to take a deep breath in and let it out. And as you do that and you visualize what your current day looks like, what is something that you want to let go of? What do you want to let go of? Is it a responsibility? Is it a role that you play? Is it a feeling? What do you want to let go of? And then take another deep breath in. And as you empty it out, begin to return to slow, steady breath. And begin to visualize yourself in 2 to 3 years from this moment. Begin to visualize yourself in 2 to 3 years from this moment. What do you look like? How do you feel? So if you ask, how do I feel in that space in my life? Begin to visualize it. And then if your mind gets distracted from this inward focus and this inquiry, just gently guide your awareness back to the breath or to this question, how do I feel in my future self? If I were my best self, how do I feel physically? How does my body feel? Maybe noticing would your thoughts be clear? Would your mind be chattering as it does? Maybe you give one word. Continuing to allow your breath to be deep and slow. Let's come to this question. What activities are you doing every day? If you could imagine and visualize yourself in 2 to 3 years, what activities would you be doing every day to take care of yourself? Allow those breath to continue to move deeply in and deeply out. And then you might ask, where are you living? Can you visualize the location that you're living in? You might visualize the structure. You may bring to mind a physical neighborhood. You may visualize people that are in this living space with you. But as you dive deep into yourself, where are you living in 2 to 3 years? Maybe what people are surrounding you, and how do those people make you feel? If you could bring in feelings of balance and comfort and love and support, what people would be surrounding you and supporting your optimal well-being? Can you bring them to the mind? Bring your awareness back to your breath. Take a deep breath in and then deep breath out. So now that you have a picture and an image of what might be surrounding you and your optimal self, begin to visualize any challenges that may come as you begin to move forward into this newness and this wholeness of you. Begin to visualize them. You might even name them. It might be family, it could be work, it could be identity, it could be finances. What challenges could potentially get in the way of you living into your best self? Bringing those to mind. And rather than resisting them, can you allow yourself to notice them and shift your focus about thinking about ways that you can move beyond them with gratitude or with openness or in a way that decreases stress. But what can you do to then meet these challenges that may step in the way of you being your best self? And then bringing your awareness back to the image of you standing there 2 or 3 years from now, noticing your physical body, noticing how it feels, asking what can I do to continue to take care of myself physically. And then giving your attention to your mind. How can you take care of your mind based on how you feel right now? And then going into that space of our emotions and our spirit, our energy that gives us breath to move through our day. How can I take care of my spirit? If I was well in my spirit, how would I feel? What would I look like? Then as you allow yourself just to begin to notice, how can you start being this person right now? How can you live well physically in your body right now? And then how can I live well in my mind right now? Is there anything, once again, that I need to let go of? Is there a past situation that comes into my mind daily that determines how I react into situations? But what can I let go of in my mind right now? And then back into the space of our spirit. What can I do right now to take care of my spirit, to manage my emotions? If your mind wanders, bring your awareness back. These questions and this inquiry and this visualization is not selfish. It is a act of self-love and self-care. So you not only can take care of yourself, but then you can also take care of the responsibilities and the people that surround you. So knowing that there will be bumps and pivots in our road, how can we not just imagine our best selves, but be our best selves? In this last portion of the exercise, take a deep breath in, release it out. Let's do that again. Inhale, I am. Exhale, well. You might do that 2 more times. Inhale, I am. And exhale, well. So as we slowly begin to exit out of this practice and maybe even place down on paper this vision of who we are and who we'd like to even be at our best selves, I'm going to invite you to bring in the image of a person that may support you in this practice of taking care of yourself. And who would support you living into your best life. This may be a relative or someone that's beloved. This may be an ancestor or an elder, someone that's loved and cared for you or guided you even to this very moment. This may be a friend or a sibling or a family member. It may be a spouse, it may be a child, it may be a case manager or a therapist, but can you bring in the support that you need, knowing that support is abundantly available even in those moments that we don't think it is, but who can you bring in to support this intention of becoming and living into your best self? So bring them into the mind's eye, right into the heart space. You might even notice them beside you or around you. And then when you're ready, bringing them back into this space with you and noticing that you are supported in this journey of taking care of yourself. Take a deep breath in. Empty it out. And so when you are ready, gently open your eyes. Notice how you feel in that moment of just visualizing who not just you want to be, but that you actually are already. And you may just need to make some steps to even allow that to be your 100%. So I have this chart, and so I'm going to invite you all on whatever paper writing document that you have to break down mind, body, and spirit, and write at least one thing under each that you can do to take care of your mind based on that future self, that whole, that best self. What is one thing you can do to your mind to take care of that and to move in that direction? So maybe there's a lot of stress or mental chatter and you want a clear mind. So you might choose to meditate daily. You might choose to decrease self-talk. You may choose to do one thing at a time rather than doing 5 or 6 things at a time. You may choose to take intentional pauses during your day to give yourself the space to just be in your actual moment. So what is something you might read? Scripture. You might take in beautiful images or beautiful artwork for your mind. We are seeing so many different images right now around us that it's important to take in beautiful images. So write down one thing in the mind category. You have your then body category. Based on your future self, what is one thing that you'd like to do for your physical body? That might mean taking a walk intentionally. It may mean committing to an exercise plan. It may mean giving yourself more sleep or rest. It may mean eating a more nutritious and nourishing meal. So just notice, based on your future self, those are just examples. You know what you visualize, but what was that one thing that you can do to move into overall well-being? You might even choose to put more than one in each category, but give yourself grace, as this is a practice of us moving into we're not in any rush. And then spirit, what is something that you can do for your spirit to move into your future self? That might mean be in community with others. Currently, right now, we tend to be in more virtual community. So this is one thing that I invite you all to continue doing if in-person contact is not available. It may mean feeding your spirit in whatever spiritual capacity serves you. It may mean reading text. It may mean spending time out in nature. But what types of things can you do to keep your spirit whole and full and getting to your future self? What brings you joy? What is something that you can do to bring joy into your life, even if it's just small spurts of joy each day? And then going back, when we asked that question, who did you have to support you in becoming your overall well, healthy self? Make sure to list them. And then identify what you can do today. So I will say that each of you have showed up and tuned in via Facebook Live and Zoom to take care of yourself and learn more. So that's the one thing that I'll say that you could do today. But I also want to encourage you, what is one thing based on that future vision of yourself that you can do today to get that feeling of overall well-being? And find gratitude that you can do it to give you that motivation. I'm also going to encourage for you to choose a theme word for your future self, for your overall best self. So choose a word and you might place that on the paper as well. Okay. So that brings us to the end of our practice in visualization, meditation, and reflection. If you have any questions, feel free. We have about 2 minutes left and I'm happy to answer them. But I encourage you, based on what you visualize and then based on what you wrote down, I encourage you to keep that somewhere close and then always come back to this vision. Just remembering that when you visualize it, we can take in positive things the same way that we can take in negative things or negative or unhelpful words. So give yourself this opportunity to always take a moment to visualize this space that you want to be in, your overall well-being. I'm going to share the screen one more time as we begin to exit, and if there's any questions. But this is our second session of 3 sessions. Next week on Thursday, we are going to do, it's Women Reimagined, Living a Balanced Life. And so what that practice is going to look like is we are actually going to go through a balance wheel. So today we visualized ourselves and our mind, our body, and our spirit, and we're calling in and identifying our supports. And so the idea is that when we can really fill our cup and allow ourselves to begin to take care of us, then we then have an opportunity to fully take care of others without actually causing much stress. Or at least learning how to manage that stress. So next week, what we'll do is we will take a balance wheel and navigate the dimensions of our lives, our career, our relationships, our finances, our home life, our own self-care, and notice how we're doing with that, and then create another solid plan to begin to integrate our self-care future self and then our actual community self-care and future self. So that's I think that's really it. But we have I offer some virtual yoga and mindfulness classes in the community, so if you are interested in joining or have any more interest in meditation, feel free to follow Bare Soul Yoga. Like I said, we're offering virtually and also in the Central Virginia area. But with that, I am going to end, but thank you all for participating. Next week, we'll tune in July 30th at 6 p.m. as well. And you can sign up on the Friends of Prevention Coalition of Richmond. So have a good night.